I am Angeline, a consistent honor student. Many people think that life is easy for someone like me, full of medals and achievements. But what they don't see is the heavy burden behind every smile, the unreachable expectations, the fear of failure, and the struggle to maintain a perfect image.
Come on, Angeline. It's just for fun. Finals are over. You deserve to relax.
Yeah, no big deal. One puff won't hurt. You've been working so hard. Lighten up.
You have an email, Queen Angeline.
Angeline, your grades are low. There are rumors about dragons. What's going on?
It helps me cope. College is too much for me. The deadlines, the pressure. Drugs helps me even for a little while.
But at what cost? You used to be one of genius. You didn't even need that to shine.
You wouldn't get it, Robbie. You always had it all together. You don't know what it's like to feel like you're drowning.
Come on, Angeline. You're the smartest one here. This is just how we relax after exam. No big deal. Yeah, everyone does it. And it's normal. We're gonna go first. Let's go.
Robbie, you and Angeline are not behind. What do you think?
I care about her, but she changed. She's so passionate and driven. Drugs are making things worse.
Not everyone's like you, Robbie. Some of us needs help to survive the day.
And I'm here for you. Drugs aren't the answer. Therapy, real friends, and faith. There are so many ways to cope.
Good afternoon and welcome to the debate on the moral permissibility of recreational drug use. We have two sides today, the for side supporting personal freedom and harm reduction, and the against side focusing on public health and social responsibility. Let's begin with the opening statements.
Good day to everyone. The topics of today's debate is one that deeply affects individuals and society as a whole. The issue of drug use and its regulation. On one side, we have the argument for personal autonomy, emphasizing that individuals should have the freedom to make choices about their own bodies, provided they do not harm others. This perspective also considers harm reduction, proposing that regulation drug use can minimize risk and improve overall well-being. On the other side, we have the perspective of social responsibility, which asserts that society has a duty to protect its member from the potential harms of drug use. This view prioritizes non-maleficence, arguing that limiting drug use safeguards not only individuals, but also the greater good of the community. As we begin this debate, let us consider both the value of individual freedom and the responsibility we share to protect and uphold the well-being of society. We encourage all participants to listen with an open mind and engage respectfully as we delve into this complex issue.
Involves the right to make decisions about your own body, as long as you do not harm others. Autonomy is a key moral principle here. Regulating drugs reduces risk by ensuring safety and quality. We support a controlled approach over competition, which drives unsafe, unregulated marketing.
Recreational drug use is morally wrong, and here's why. Drugs pose significant health risks,
including addiction and long-term damage, which determines societal well-being. The moral principle of social responsibility compels us to protect people from harm. Allowing drug use normalizes harmful behavior, weakening societal values. We have a moral duty to preserve social order and ensure people act responsibly. Drug use can harm others, such as through accidents or impaired judgments. The moral principle of non-maleficence requires us to minimize harm to others, not just the user. Conclusion, personal autonomy and harm reduction should take precedence. By regulating drugs, we can reduce harm and allow individuals the freedom to make informed choices without infringing on their rights. We maintain the risk of addiction, public health damage, and harm to others. Justify prohibiting recreational drug use. Our moral responsibility is to protect individuals and society from these dangers.
What is recreational drug use? Recreational drug use is the use of a psychotic drug to alter one's mental state in a way that modifies emotions, perceptions, and feeling for recreational purposes. When a substance enters the body, brings on an intoxicating effect, often referred to as high. This infographic highlights the global impact of drug abuse, showing 200,000 annual deaths, a 250 billion potential treatment cost, and 230 million people who have used illegal drugs at least once. The accompanying statistics on overdose deaths illustrate an alarming trend of increasing fatalities over the years. With males consistently more affected, the data underscores the severe public health, economic, and societal challenges posed by drug abuse. Mortality and health impacts of drug users. High mortality rate among drug users, noting that 27% die within 20 years of starting regular drug use. Of these deaths, half are linked to HIV, highlighting the health risk associated with drug use, particularly intravenous use. The risk of infections like HIV and hepatitis, along with increased crime and familiar disruptions, reflect the broader consequences of drug abuse. Drug use, especially recreational drug use, is a contentious ethical issue. It involves balancing personal freedoms with societal well-being, preventing harm, and ensuring fairness. Moral principles provide a framework to examine the ethical dimension of this debate. Autonomy emphasizes the right of individuals to make decisions about their own lives, including the consumption of recreational drugs. Proponents argue that as long as drug use does not harm others, individuals should be free to use substances to explore personal pleasure, creativity, or self-discovery. Critics argue that drug use can impair autonomy over time, especially with addictive substances. Addiction reduces a person's ability to make free and rational decisions, leading to dependency. Therefore, permitting drug use might paradoxically undermine autonomy in the long run. Some advocate for drug use under the principle of beneficence, claiming that it can improve quality of life in certain contexts. For example, medicinal use of cannabis elevates pain and anxiety. Psychedelics have shown promise in treating mental health conditions like PTSD and depression. Recreational drug use often poses risk to health and well-being such as overdose, long-term health complications, or psychological disorders, even in non-addictive cases. The societal cost, broken relationships, reduced productivity, and accidents challenge the notion that drug use contributes to well-being. Non-maleficence. Supporters argue that when used responsibly, drugs do not necessarily cause harm. For example, moderate alcohol or cannabis use in controlled environments can be relatively safe. They also point out that prohibiting drugs creates harm through unregulated markets, leading to dangerous substances and criminal activities. Drugs carry inherent risk, even with a responsible use. Overdose, addiction, and impaired judgment can lead to self-harm and harm to others. Legalizing drugs might normalize behavior that indirectly increases harm, especially among vulnerable groups like teenagers. Justice can be invoked to support the decriminalization or legalization of drugs. Current drug police often disproportionately affect marginalized communities, leading to systematic inequalities. Legalization could reduce incarceration rates and promote a fairer legal system. Legalizing or normalizing drug use might exacerbate inequalities. Vulnerable population could become targets for exploitation by the drug industry. Moreover, the societal cost of drug use, such as healthcare burdens or decreased workplace productivity, might fall disproportionately on taxpayers, regardless of their own choices. The ethical debate around drug use involves a delicate balance of competing moral principles. While autonomy supports personal freedom, non-maleficence and beneficence call for caution to prevent harm and promote well-being. Justice highlights the need to address systematic inequities in drug policy and its societal impacts. Ultimately, the ethicality of drug use depends on context, the nature of the substance, and the societal systems in place to manage its risks and benefits. Societies must strive to craft policies that respect individuals' rights while safeguarding public health and equity.